This is Brian, legal researcher over at Lawsuit Legal, and today we are going to be discussing wrongful deaths, including accidents, causes, and trends. Wrongful death is a legal claim against a person or entity who may have caused the death of another due to the negligence or misconduct of another and may be held liable. Some of the most common causes of wrongful deaths include motor vehicle accidents involving passenger cars, motorcycles, large trucks or semi and tractor trailers, defective drugs, defective products, and exposure to toxins such as asbestos and benzene. Wrongful death causes can also include medical malpractice, tainted foods such as food tainted by E. coli or salmonella, violence, workplace or construction accidents, and murder. According to the Center of Disease Control, in 2007, the leading cause of wrongful deaths was motor vehicle accidents, followed by firearm deaths, poisoning, falls, suffocation, and drowning. The CDC also states that every 42.7 deaths per 100,000 people is related to unintentional injuries and accidents. In 2014 alone, there were 136,053 deaths attributed to unintentional injuries. Unintentional injury deaths account for more fatalities at each age than any other category of intent. From 2003 to 2004, 67% of all deaths in the United States were attributed to unintentional injuries and accident. Suicide was only 19%, with homicides at 11%, undetermined cause of death at 3%, and legal intervention or operations of war at 1%. According to the Institute of Medicine Report on Healthcare Safety, To Err is Human, published in the Journal of Health and Life Sciences Law, medical errors attribute to 98,000 deaths each year, and medication errors lead to 7,000 deaths as well. 1 in every 5 medical errors are potentially serious or fatal. The CDC released a report regarding occupational injury deaths in the United States from 2004 to 2005. In the report, it showed that the two leading causes of death in the workplace were transportation and material moving, and construction and extraction. The top events or exposures leading to occupational injury deaths in the U.S. from 2004 to 2005 include transportation accidents, contact with objects and equipment, assaults and violent acts, fall, exposure to harmful substances and environments, and fires and explosions. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reported that in 2015 there were a total of 3,015,000 vehicle accidents, of which 44,858 were fatal. Passenger cars and light truck accidents resulted in a combined total of 35,000 fatalities. Large truck accidents leading to death were around 3,800. Of the 87,000 motorcycle accidents, 4,700 of those accidents were fatal. The remaining 750 deaths were related to bus accidents or other accidents. In 2009, the number of motor vehicle deaths involving non-collision were 4,000. About 14,000 of those involved collision with other vehicles, and about 5,000 were collision with pedestrians. The NHTSA attributes 72% of all vehicle-related deaths to passenger cars, 22% of fatalities were pedestrians walking, and 3% each among large truck accidents and cyclists. The United States Department of Transportation stated that in 2015 there were a total of 415,000 large truck accidents, of which 3,598 of those resulted in death. Of all large truck accidents leading to death, 58.8% of those deaths resulted from the action of another vehicle, including loss of control. 20.9% were the action of the truck driver, while 6% were from the action of a cyclist, and 8.4% were labeled other. According to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the most common causes of fatal motorcycle crashes in 2013 and 2014 were speeding at a little over 30%, not wearing helmets at over 50%, alcohol-impaired drivers at about 30%, and a little under 30% of those accidents involved motorcyclists who were riding without a valid motorcycle's license. Reports are showing that more and more deaths are being attributed to defective drugs. The defective drugs shown to cause fatalities include prescription medicines, diet drugs, hormonal drugs, cholesterol-reducing drugs, steroid pain injections, over-the-counter decongestants, heartburn and acid reflux medicines, and antidepressant drugs. An example of a medication that has led to several wrongful death legal complaints is Xarelto, a drug used to prevent blood clots. Xarelto was first approved by the FDA in July 2011 for use with deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism. As early as November 2011, the first Xarelto-related death was reported to the FDA, and in November 2012, the FDA revised approval and risk documents for the medication. In June 2013, the FDA sent out an advisory letter warning of misleading claims regarding the risk of Xarelto. Since 2007, the National Institute on Drug Abuse has found a steady increase of overdose deaths from select prescription and illicit drugs, from about 35,000 in 2007 to over 50,000 by 2015. According to the National Vital Statistics Report from the CDC, 49,714 persons died of drug-induced causes in the United States in 2014 alone. The National Center for Health Statistics data reports that in 2014, West Virginia led the country with the highest drug poisoning deaths with 35.5 deaths per every 100,000 people. New Mexico and New Hampshire had nearly 27 deaths per 100,000 people, and Kentucky and Ohio had about 24.7 deaths per 100,000 people. Defective products also led to wrongful deaths, including defective auto products, consumer products, sporting gear, medical devices, and industrial machinery and heavy equipment. Examples of defects leading to deaths include a swing set with a cracked chain, a tainted batch of cough syrup containing a poisonous substance, homeopathic gel and tablets that cause seizures and fevers, a particular model of car that has a tendency to flip over while turning a corner, a line of electric blankets that can electrocute the user when turned on high, and consumer devices with a tendency to explode in use. According to the NHTSA, 390 million cars, trucks, buses, RVs, and motorcycles have been recalled for safety reasons. 46 million tires have been recalled, 66 million pieces of motor vehicle equipment, and 42 million child seats have been recalled as well. Medical malpractice and healthcare-related mistakes attribute to a large portion of wrongful death cases in the United States each year. Medical malpractice refers to a negligent act by a healthcare professional that causes an injury to a patient. 22% of all medical malpractice cases include death. The remaining injuries involve organ damage or infection, brain or head injury, chronic pain, neck or back injury and pain, loss of sight and hearing, nerve damage, cancer, and more. Most common reasons for medical malpractice claims include surgery errors and errors in diagnosis. Errors in diagnosis account for 46% of the claims, while surgery errors account for 34%. In the United States, a major contributor to wrongful deaths include harmful exposure to toxins, especially asbestos. Asbestos are a group of minerals that occur naturally in the environment as bundles of fibers that can be separated into the durable threads which are resistant to heat, fire, and chemicals and do not conduct electricity. Because of these properties, it was widely used in the United States, amounting to 803,000 metric tons by 1973. Even though the health risks of asbestos were known as far back as the early 1930s, it wasn't until the 1970s that court documents proved the asbestos industry officials knew of the dangers from asbestos as far back as 1930, and that it began being phased out of construction. Exposure to asbestos fibers were found to cause serious and fatal illnesses, including lung cancer, mesothelioma, and asbestosis. In the United States, the number of deaths related to asbestosis has been around 1,200 per year from 2010 to 2013, and around 4,000 each year from mesothelioma. The Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai did a study in 2014 regarding asbestos in commercial cosmetics talcum powder as a cause of mesothelioma in women. Laboratory A did product testing using over 50 containers of the particular brand of talcum powder from a variety of sources for bulk testing. Laboratory B did asbestos releasability testing to determine if the user could inhale asbestos during a talcum powder application. Laboratory C did bulk product testing and bathroom-sized chamber releasability testing, and there was a human tissue analysis where tissue samples from a woman with no other known exposure to asbestos other than her use of the product was tested. The initial bulk analysis of the 50 samples of the product in Laboratory A showed that all of the samples contained asbestos fibers. The study also confirmed that not only was asbestos present in the talcum powders, but that the cosmetic powders were capable agents of exposure to asbestos. So who can file a wrongful death suit? When it comes to the actual filing of the wrongful death lawsuit, any of the following can file the suit: unmarried life partners, financial dependents, common law spouses, removed family members, parents of a deceased fetus, and the executor, administrator, or beneficiaries of the deceased estate. Damages in a wrongful death lawsuit can include hospital and other medical costs prior to death, lost wages, benefits, inheritance, and punitive damages, funeral costs, and other financial losses or hardships suffered. Are you considering suing for compensation in a wrongful death situation? Connect with a qualified lawsuit attorney who will make sure you are aware of your legal rights and ensure your voice and needs are not ignored. Lawsuit Legal works to connect people with legitimate legal claims to attorneys nationwide who can help and make it simple and easy to acquire award-winning legal assistance when it's needed most.